So, hello students. Today I welcome you all to our C++ programming lectures. Okay, and here now we will be learning C programming in a very easy way as much as possible. Okay, one thing I would like to recommend you all that if you are learning C programming, don't directly start with it. Okay, because sometimes you may get some difficulty in learning some parts. So that is why I am recommending you that on the same platform we are having C programming language lectures also. They are just 2-3 hours of content. Okay, like it is also very defined lecture and in a very simple defined way. Okay, so I would recommend you to start with C and then come to C++. Then all these things will go in very easy mode for you. Okay, so kindly check that out. Okay, and then continue. And if you are already known to this C++ programming language, no problem you are going to face. Okay, you can continue from here also. Okay, so this is Yash Srivastav. Okay, now let us start the lecture. So the very first question arises in our mind that why we go for C++. Okay, there are so many numerous of more than 2,500 coding languages existing in the world. Why we should choose for C++, right? This is a general question which arises. So the first thing that you should know that it is a popular and relevant language. Okay, and it is used nearly in every application domain. Okay, you can use it at end user application while working on Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Photoshop, Adobe Strat, and Quicken and games. You here all in all these domains you can use it as an end user application. Okay, so before learning anything, we must be aware about that why we should go for it. Okay, many developers go for Java, many developers go for Python, many go for C++. So why? Okay, this question must arise in the mind of developer. Then only you will be able to find out which language suits you the most. Okay, there is a concept of pointers in C and C++, but there is no any concept of pointer in Java and Python. Okay, so these all you must know before starting a language. Okay, so these are the courses which are going to help you to identify which subject you are okay with and you can carry on in future. Okay, so second is it can be used as for operating system in Windows 9x, NT, XP, IBM's K42. Okay, this is an IBM's application. Okay, then some Apple OS X also. Okay, you can use it. Then large scale web server apps. Okay, the the web servers which have a very large scale, there also you can use C++. See, the good thing with C++ is now that it is a quick and responsive language because all the classes and all the structures you are going to make in your program itself. Okay, so your program doesn't need to fetch some files or some packages from anywhere else. You can just simply make all those things uh, inside your existing code only, and those things are going to be executed very well and in a quicker manner, so that the user will be very happy whenever you get a quick response from your website. You feel happy, right? Similarly, every other user feels so. That is why we can consider C++ again. So here, by this point, I was like trying to say that a large scale web servers and apps such as Amazon and Google can also be operated using C++ language. Okay, then central database control. Okay, central database control can also like Israel Census Bureau. Okay, Amandes, Morgan Stanley financial modeling. All these can also be handled using C++ coding language. Okay, then in the field of communication, Alcatel, Nokia, 800 telephone numbers, major transmission nodes in Germany and France. All these can be operated using C++ language. Okay. Then numerical computation and graphics. For example, here it is written as Maya. Okay, then device drivers under real time constraint. Okay, wait for a second. And these devices drives under real time constraint. What I was trying to say is, what do you mean by real time constraint? Okay, real time is the time in which you are working in. Okay, real time in which we are in presently. Okay, so whenever you execute this language now, it will give you the result in real time, like okay, suppose I have written a code and I have press the run button. Okay, so in the real time, in the present time, in the present situation, it is going to show me the output, show me the results. Okay, this is what real time means. One second, where is the, yeah, so uh, in the real time, okay, like in the present time, just now it is going to give you the results. Okay, it won't be like, okay, we are loading, we will give you result in 5 minutes, or we will give you a result in 10 minutes. No, in real time, as soon as you will click the run button, it will compile. If your code is correct, if your main function is correct, then it is going to give you the results, it is going to give you the outputs. Okay, so this was the first point, that it is popular and relevant according to the present era of digitalization. Okay, then second point is stable, compatible, and scalable. Okay, it is stable. Okay, it is very stable language. Okay, and it is compatible. Okay, and at the end, the uh, third point is that it is scalable also. Okay, okay, so what does these words mean? I'm going to explain you them in a short manner. That stable means, okay, you like suppose there is a coding language. Okay, every day it is bringing out some new updates. Okay, so what will happen? You will, all your time will go in learning those new updates only, right? And you won't be able to complete your application. Suppose you have completed a code of like 1,000 or 10,000 lines in by putting on a week or a month, and after that you got to know that there are some updates, and then you have to make the changes in the entire code. So these things uh, may not be good from the point of view of a software developer. Okay, so the good thing in with this C++ language, that this language is stable and compatible, means it can run in on any device. Okay, any device which is correctly and loaded with this C++ program, it is going to work in it properly. Okay, so it is compatible also. And third is scalable, that you can increase its scale, its size in any way possible you want. Okay, the only thing that you have to keep in mind, that some basic requirements of a language uh, is that you should have enough storage and you should have enough time to execute it. Okay, so this is why this is what is the second point, that why we can use C++ as our language. So now we are going to compare C and C++ language. Okay. So first point is written is C is C incremented. Okay. So in the beginning of the lecture, I told you that if you are not very much familiar with C language, you should go and get their lectures first, only because C++ is nothing but a more advanced, a more incremented version of C language only. Okay. So uh, so if you are not clear with the C language, it is tough for you to learn C++ language. Okay, all the classes, all the origins, all the packages that are used in C languages can be used in C++ with somewhat different syntax codes. Okay, now second point is C++ is more expressive. Okay, we can fewer C++ source lines needed than C source lines in the same program. Okay, like it is more expressive. We can write the more expressive kind of code in C++ as compared to C language, and all what we need to write in C++ can be compiled in lesser number of lines, in lesser number of space, using this C++ language. Okay, then third is that C++ is a permissive language. Okay, it means all the things, whatever you want to do, you can do same as that of C language. Okay, and what all things you used to do in C language can also be done in C++ language. Okay, so both of these languages are actually the same languages, but C++ is actually an updated version of the C language. Okay, so I hope this thing is also clear to you that what is this permissive means, that all what you want to do you can do it in C++, not only for the C++, that but all the things that you used to do in C language can also be done in C++ language also. Okay, and then C++ language is efficient language. Okay, it is an efficient language. Okay, it does not need uh, runtime support. Okay, and moreover C++ allows you to listen properly, that manipulates bits directly and interface with hardware without regard for safety. Okay, or ease of comprehension. Okay, manipulates bits directly, it directly manipulates the bits. Okay, and interface, what it does, it interface with hardware without regarding for safety or ease of comprehension. Okay, and but you might be thinking that these things might become so much complex, okay, so much horrible for a beginner. So you need not to care about that, because all these details are uh, hidden as a very safe and clean, elegant interface. Okay, this C++ will hide all this stuff so that your code will still be looking very uh, simple and easy for you. Okay, then C++ is more maintainable. Okay, C++ language is even more maintainable. Okay, 1,000 lines of code, even brute force spaghetti code will work. Okay, if you have written uh, a code like a mess, okay, if it is correct, okay, if it is incorrect, it is not going to work obviously, but if it is correct, so even your code is a mess, your code is looking like a spaghetti, it is still going to work. Okay, and if you have written a 1 lakh line of codes, and uh, so that code needs a good structure. Okay, and if you have committed some error now, this that will give you uh, then if give you an error, that will give you a syntax error, throw in the output, it will throw a syntax error in the output. Okay, but if you have corrected that problem, okay, now if you have run your program again and again, it is giving you a error. Okay, so either your error is not corrected, or if you have corrected that error and some error is occurring over there, it is going to tell you in detail that where you have committed the error, so that it is easy for a developer to understand that where he he or she has to make the changes in its code. Okay, so this is what the advantages of using C++ language. Okay, that C++ language is more maintainable. Okay, it is more efficient, it is more permissive, it is more expressive, and it is just the incremented version of C language. Okay, I hope till here all the things are clear to you. Now, efficiency and maintainability. Okay, so if we talk about efficiency and maintainability, in the world of coding language, in the world of programming, we always give preference to efficiency over maintainability. Okay, in the world of coding, we always give preference to efficiency over maintainability. Okay, so efficiency is the processor time. Okay, how much time is the processor is taking. Okay, and maintainability is the programmer time. Okay, that how much time a particular programmer is taking to maintain that program. Okay, so here it is written as 90 by 10 rule. Okay, 90 by 10 rule. 10% of your program will take 90% of your processor time to run. Okay, only 10%. If you have written 100-line codes, only 10 lines are going to take the 90% processor runtime of your code. Okay, and rest all will be get rest or 90% will be get executed in just 10% of time. Okay, because those are the main part of the code, and that is what our compiler has to understand and distinguish between what the user or what the programmer is actually wanting it to do. Okay, then optimizing what it needs to be optimized. Okay, but no more. Okay, optimizes what needs to be optimized. Okay, what it does, it optimizes whatever the thing need to be optimized. Okay, I don't know if it can be explained in even a simpler English, that optimizes what needs to be optimized. Whatever needed to be optimized, it optimizes. Okay, and then focus on design. What we do, that we focus on design. Okay, if your code is well structured, if your code is well maintained, it is easier for both the programmer and the compiler, or you can say the processor, to understand and execute it properly and give you the desired output. Okay, now design goals for C++. Design goals for C++. What are the design goals for C++ language? Okay, so backward compatibility with C. What is, how much is the backward compatibility with C? So here it is written almost completely. Every program in K and R is a C++ program. Okay, but additional keys can cause problems. Okay, some of the like it is completely compatible. Okay, but sometimes when we use additional keywords, it may cause a problem. And you need not to worry, because it is rare of the rarest case. Okay, these additional keywords are rare of the rarest cases. We are merely using them. Okay, then simplicity and elegance. Okay, so few built-in data types. Example, no matrices. Okay, these are example of simplicity and elegance while designing the C++ program. Okay, then support for user defined data types. Okay, this gives you a complete access to a user to define its data types in the manner he or she wants. Okay, and it acts like a built-in type. Okay, how it acts? It acts like a built-in types. You know, built-in types take usually lesser time than the embedded systems. Okay, built-in types take lesser time to execute the things properly than the embedded systems, and that is what it is written, that acts like a built-in types and the standard template library. Okay, basically we call it as STL and most of the time. So this acts as a inbuilt system. Okay, it is going to increase the speed of your code, to increase the implementing speed of the code. Okay, no compromises in efficiency. As I told you, it is an efficient language in the previous slide also, that it is an efficient language, and no compromise with efficiency you will be encountering in this language. Okay, runtime or memory. Not only in efficiency, but in runtime and memory also. It will not be compromising in runtime also, and it will not be compromising in memory also. Okay, how much memory is required by the program, it is going to take, and if you are not going to allocate it, the program is not able to handle all those data, the information you have, the user have tried to put it in the code. Okay, so it does not compromises in the efficiency and the runtime or the memory. Okay, and here is it is written that in case of advanced features, it might compromise with the efficiency, runtime, and memory. Okay, so what it is written, unless advanced features are used. Okay, here they should have written an R also. Actually, I should have written an R also. So unless the advanced features are used. Okay, now compilation analysis to prevent accidental corruption of data. Okay, what it does a compilation analysis, and for what this compilation analysis is helpful, it is helpful in preventing the accidental corruption of data. Okay, type checking and data hiding. What are some of its example? That is type checking and data hiding. Okay, these are the method that it uses. Okay, and the last thing is support the object oriented style of programming as that as same as that of C language. Yesterday I told you in detail that what is a object oriented programming in the C language, and it supports very well in writing a C++ program also. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to cover, that what is the purpose of programming language. Okay, uh, so programming language serves for two purposes. Okay, every single programming language actually serves for two purposes, and what are those two purposes? It is written over here, and I'm going to tell you that first of all, it vehicle for specifying actions to be executed. Vehicle means what over here? It supports, it helps you to uh, go go with the help of it. Okay, it does not mean the vehicle which we talk about in general days like car and motorcycle. It support, it kind of helps for specifying the actions. It helps for specifying the actions that needed to be executed. Okay, so that is why what phrase we are using for it, it is close to the machine. Okay, it is even more closer to the machine than us. Okay, this programming language are closer to the machine. Okay, then second thing, what it is trying to say, one second. Second thing is set of concept for thinking about what can be done. Okay, this programming language is a complete set of concepts and help us uh, to think that what can be done. Okay, not every okay, sometimes we might be wondering that what should be done here, how can be done here. So these programming language just assist us uh, with the set of concepts in thinking that what can be done next. Okay, and therefore this phrase has been written that close to the problems being solved. Okay, that it is comparatively closer to the problems being solved. Okay, so object-oriented C++. Okay, C++ is a program, and if we use object-oriented C++, object-oriented C++ is nothing but a kind of code that we write in C++ language. So this object-oriented C++ excels means here excellence. Okay, here, excellence means excellence. So object-oriented C++ language excellence in both of the above given points. Okay, so this is what the purpose of our programming language. Okay, so by learning C++ language, we just don't want to learn some new syntax, but we want to become a better programmer and designer. Okay, and we want to learn better ways of building system. Okay, that is why we have came to learn C++. That is what our objective, motivation or goal in learning C++. Okay, one more thing, that be willing to learn C++ this time. Okay, like be ready to learn what C++ style is. Okay, don't force another style on it. Like you might be thinking, I have learned that language, Java or Python or other language previously, so I will try to implement those codes in it. No, don't try to do so. Just try to learn this new style. Which style? C++ style. Okay, and C++ supports gradual learning. Okay, C++ is a language which goes on gradually. It won't uh, give an ups and downs in your journey, and that's for making the journey very comfortable for a learner. Okay, use what you know. Okay, you just have to use whatever you know. You don't need to run behind the things that you don't know. Okay, uh, there are so many syntax that make the things simpler, that makes the things easier, so you don't have to care about them. You gradually, when you will learn C++, just in the beginning use whatever you know, and gradually you will learn all the things that will make your coding career easier and more comfortable. Okay, You don't have to worry about what is going to be next. Just focus on the syntax, just focus on the code which you know right now. And as you learn new features and techniques, add those tools to your toolbox. Okay, as you keep on learning those new features and techniques, just keep on adding those tools to your toolbox. Okay, just go in a slow pace, just go on things one by one, just remember the topics one by one, just learn the syntax one by one, and you can make every single code in with a basic knowledge also. The only thing which will happen after the deep learning is that you will be able to write those codes more precisely in more in lesser spaces and in lesser time complexities. Okay, so this is what it is trying to say by graduate learning. And C++ support variety of programming pyramids also. Okay, it supports variety of programming pyramids. Okay, there are so many programming pyramids, as you might see. And C++ supports almost not every but almost various of them. It supports various of them. So it is what the perks what you get while learning the C++ language. Okay, now I was talking previously about the programming pyramids. So what are these programming pyramids? So first is the procedural, second is the modular, third is the object oriented, fourth is the abstract, and fifth is the generic. So what comes under the procedural is implementing algorithms using functions. Okay, what is procedure? Procedure. We earlier have know the word meaning of procedure, that doing the things in a systematic order, in a fixed order, so that the things go in ease. That is what procedure is. Okay, so we implement algorithms via functions with the help of function. What are the function? Here are the some functions written inside the bracket, that is variable functions, etc. And there are so many other functions used in the C++ language. Okay. Second is a modular. What is modular? Partition program into modules. Okay, that is separate compilation, that we can participate. Sorry, part do our program into different modules. Okay, so that they can have a simpler compilation. Okay, in the beginning, if you are writing a basic code, it is okay, it is going to execute the same thing, but as you go deeper inside the language, all these things you will master, and then you will be able to write more specific, more efficient, and more uh, and lesser time and space complexities, uh, all those which codes have. Okay, now third is the object oriented. So what is this object oriented? Means that we are dividing the problems into the classes. Okay, therefore if we divide the problems into the classes, we need not to address the entire code while making a change or making an update in our code. We just have to uh, interact with that particular class only, and we can update our uh, uh, code. Okay, so this is what is the uh, other point in the programming pyramid of C++, that is object oriented. C++ is object oriented language. And then the fourth point is abstract. Okay, what is abstract? It separates the interface from implementation. Okay, what this abstract does, it simply separates. What it separates? The interface from the implementation. Okay, implementation part is different and interface part is different. Okay, it's simply what it does, it simply separates both of them. Okay, it simply separates. Okay, and those are known as abstract classes. Okay, we will be studying all these topics in detail in the upcoming PPTs. Okay, then generic and manipulate arbitrary data types. Okay, as I told you previous about this STL, standard template library, that comes under the generic. Okay, and what it has containers and algorithms inside it. Okay, this library is nothing but making your code writing journey a bit easier by using some predefined or pre-maintained packages or stores of containers and algorithm. Okay, so manipulate arbitrary data types. What it does, it simply manipulates the arbitrary data types. Okay, what all are data types we are using, it just manipulates them. Okay, now Okay, since a long time we have been talking about object-oriented programming, object-oriented programming, object-oriented programming. So what is it? Okay, so there are 3 points. With these 3 points, we are going to explain what is object-oriented programming is. Okay, so first point which is written over is encapsulate. Okay, this name has been taken from capsulation plus n. Okay, what we do in capsules, we just store the useful things in a very small space in a very precise manner. Okay, so this doing this process is known as encapsulation. Okay, you have heard about the medicine capsules, right? Same is the thing over here. We are storing some useful stuff. We are using some storing some important thing, and you can say helpful thing in a small space in a very precise manner, in a very accurate manner, so that it does not take much of your space, and in a very, in a very structured manner, you can say. That is called as encapsulation. Okay, and internal data is hidden. Like if you can see a capsule, you cannot see what is inside it. Okay, you can see just the outer covering of it, right? So similar is the thing over here, that the object oriented programming is encapsulated. Okay, it has been structured precisely and has been stored in a very small space. Okay, so that is what encapsulation is. Okay, second is the inheritance. Okay, if we come to the our general word, what do you mean by inheritance? Okay, inheritance means something that you have got from your ancestors, from your parents, or from your grandparents. That is called as inheritance. Okay, so how inheritance is going to work in this object-oriented programming? So let me tell you, or give you example. Here we have a class. Okay, we have a class. Okay, so at the end we are going to write to mention another class, and we will further on in some other part of the code we are using that class. Okay, so this class has ability to access all the public and private data of this class. Okay, this can use all the information of this public and private data of this class just by simply mentioning this class at the end of that class. This is how inheritance works in it. Okay, the above class, okay, this class will be known as the parent class. Okay, and this class will be known as child class. Okay, so now I hope you have understood the meaning of inheritance, what we are talking about. Okay, so this is what inheritance is. Related classes share implementation or interface. That is what I was trying to explain you in much more simpler words, right? I think you have got it. Now, polymorphism. What is polymorphism? It is very simple thing, that it is just the ability to use a class without knowing its type. Okay, we don't even know about the type of the, one second, yeah, we don't know even the type of that class. Okay, and still we are able to use that class. That is what polymorphism is. Okay, so C++ is an object-oriented language. That is, C++ provide mechanism that support object-oriented cycle of programming. That is written over here. I have just simply read it, and I need not to explain anything in this because it is just a simple things written, that C++ provide what? Mechanism that supports. It provides a mechanism that supports what? Object-oriented programming style. Okay, that's it. This is what object-oriented programming is. Now you might not be wondering that what is object-oriented programming. This is only what object-oriented programming is. Okay, so now let us talk about some C++ concepts. Okay, there are so many concepts in C++. Okay, it is just, as I told you, it is just an extension or modified version of C language. So there were so many problems that were faced by the programmer while using the C languages. So we have introduced several new, and we have updated a few of the older programs of C, and thus how we got the list of these concepts of C++. So first concept is of constructor. Okay, constructor, destructor, and copy constructor. Okay, What all these we are going to see in detail in the upcoming slides. Okay, this is only what the content lies inside the C++. Okay, so you need not to worry about this any even a bit. Okay, so second is initializing list. Initialize, you can get a brief idea about this. The main thing I would like to tell you that if you will read the words now, they will simply give you a basic idea about what that program is going to be. Like from constructor, what is the thing coming in your mind? Okay, what is the destructor, what is the thing coming in your mind? What is the copy constructor coming, makes the image in your mind? Okay, these are simple English words that are used to give you a basic idea of what actually is going to happen in this. Okay, I am not saying you that they are being used exactly in the way the name they have, because in the previous slide just I have told you about the inheritance, right? But inheritance in real life means something related to ancestors, and here it is something related to class. Okay, and again for our understanding purpose we have given it a name of parent class and a child class. Okay, so the concepts are same but not exactly, they have a bit of twist. Okay, and that's what we are going to see in this entire course. Okay, so exceptions. Okay, now again you have got a image what exceptions are in your mind. Okay, then overloading operators. Okay, overloading, what is overloading? Simply you can say that when you have a in simple word if application we will say overload is something when you are overloaded. Okay, you cannot have handle a weight and still some more weight is given to you, then what you will say, then it is overloaded. In elevators, in lifts, you can see they always have function of overloading. Whenever the lift is overloaded, it is not going to take you up or down wherever you want, right? So you can get a basic idea with their names only. Name is space. What is space? Name is space. Okay. Const simple means constants. Okay. Then virtual functions. What are there are some real functions? Then if it is in a digital word, then they are known as virtual functions. Okay. Pure virtual abstract based functions. Okay, then this is just a type, no, basically not a type but a special feature of virtual function, that is what pure virtual function, or you can say abstract function is. Then there is a friend function. Okay, friend, if we talk about in general life. Okay, and I am going to relate it with that concept that is in the C++. Think of you have a friend. Okay, think of any of your friend. Okay, so what all is going inside your family? Suppose your father has a birthday today. Okay, so apart from your family, only your friend is going to know about it, right? Okay, so your friend doesn't belong to your family, still he knows about that your father is having his birthday today, or your mother is having your birthday today, or some of your brothers or sisters or cousins have brother today. So this friend does not belong to your family. Okay, related somewhat with inheritance. Okay, related somewhat with your inheritance. That particular class doesn't belong to this class, but because it is a friend class, it still have access to a lot of information of that class, right? So this is how this friend function works. Okay, then template, then standard template library. I have been telling you about the standard template and standard template library since the previous slides also. Okay, pass by value and pass by reference, I have taught you this topic in C language also. Okay, comparison versus composition versus derivation. Okay, all these are just they have used simple English words so that you can get a basic idea about every topic what is going to happen in this. Okay, and somewhat I have told you in brief, and later on we will be discussing every topic in detail also. Okay, so here is a simple C++ program. Okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, so first line is the include IO stream. Okay, it is just simply taking input and output package. In the case of C, it was stdio.h, but that is simply modified to std include IO stream in C++ language. Okay, then second is the C studio, that is used for printf statement. Printf means output giving a statement. Okay, so here starts the main function which is starting over here and ending over here. Okay, it is a data type, it is a which is a data type of integer and its value is 5. Here is another value b of data type float and its value is written over here. Okay, here this f represent the float's value. Okay, then we are simply writing the printf statement, that is the output statement, what it is going to print. Okay, then std out. Okay, okay, I would like to tell you that this statement is a C programming language. Okay, still it works in C++ also. Okay, everything what you do in C will definitely work in C++ also. And this is the exact statement which we use in C++ program, that is std double column uh, double colons C out, and then we are using these two signs and then we write in between. Earlier we used this bracket, now we are using this symbol, okay, to write our program. Okay, and after this, after hello world, this A's value is going to be printed, and after that a space, and then B's value is going to be printed, and at the end this std endl. Okay, this endl make sure that no anything should be printed in the present line after this. Okay, like if you will you want to print any other thing, it will be printed in the next line. Okay, so after the successful completion of main function, it is going to return you a 0. That's it. Okay, now declarations and definition. Okay, so how we are going to declare? So extern character C. Okay, extern character C, that is a declaration. Okay, and struct user, extern character C and struct user. Okay, this is how we declare the things. C is a character data type and struct is a structure. Okay, what is a structure? I have taken a whole lecture about structure in the lecture 2 of C programming. If you are very much keen to know, you can go over there and learn it. So struct user, this is the structure which is named as user. Okay, then double sqrt. Okay, sqrt is nothing, means square root. Okay, double, this is square root, and here is the data type mentioned, that it is a double data type. Okay, and okay, to have many, like there are so many others. Okay, and now we are going to talk about the definition. This char is, this C is a data type of character. Okay, now count, here count is what? Count is a integer data type, and that is why it is taking input in form of integers only. Then double abstract, double A. Okay, here it is a conditional statement given. Okay, that if A is equal to, is greater than 0, then what we are going to do? If this condition satisfies, it is going to print A. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it is going to print minus A. Okay, now this is what the declaration and definitions look like in C. Here we are defining what we are using, and here we are declaring what we are going to use. Okay, this is as simple. So now let us move on with the fundamental types. Okay, so here are the some of the types written over here, that integral, arithmetic, and user defined. Okay, so these are all the examples of particular, integral, arithmetic, and user defined fundamental types. Okay, so first is bool. Bool is something which you can answer only in the form of true or false, 0 or 1. Okay, you can also take it as on or off. Okay, you can also take one more example like heads and tails. Okay, that is only the bool, in which you have only two choices, and out of that only one is correct. Okay, then char. Char means character. Okay, if you want to take C, or you want to take some string as an input, okay, then you will be using char. Okay, could be signed and unsigned implementation defined. Then next is int. Int is nothing but integer type. Okay, that is signed by default. Okay, integer you can take positive as well as negative value in it. Double. Okay, in which its size is very big. If you want to take some very large number, then you will be considering double. Void is actually void is means nothing, empty, and therefore, and that is why only here it is written as pseudo type. Okay. Then enum means enumerated type. Okay, enum means enumerated type. Then next fundamental type is class. Okay, there may be so many user defined class. Okay, you can, every user can define a class on its own way, and also short, long, struct, float. Okay, wchar, etc. Okay, there are so many kind of user defined uh, fundamental types. This float is generally used for the decimal values. Okay, yeah. Then memory allocation. What now we are going to talk about the memory allocation. Okay, on the stack, if we talk about then how we are going to allocate the memory, it is a block defined by this. This kind of parentheses are used in this, and object alive till it falls out of scope. Okay, object is alive till it falls out of the scopes, and it is called it calls constructors and destructors. Okay, see, this is how a stack look like. Okay, sorry, one over another. Okay, so it has only one way exit. Okay, like you can give an input from this side and take the output only from this side. Okay, then on the heap, what do you mean by heap? Have you ever heard the word heap? If you have seen some, don't like a heap of sand, you might have heard uh, a heap of trash also. So what is a heap? When we keep things in a collected manner, what happens sometimes that its base is bigger, and it uh, uh, it becomes shorter in length as it moves towards the top. So in our CSE language, how the heap looks like, it looks like this. Okay, yeah. So basically in this, this is how a heap look likes. Okay, how many component a root node is containing. Okay, this most above node is known as the root node, and all other these nodes are known as leaf nodes. Okay, new new and delete replace malloc, calloc, and free. Okay, these are the three functions which are used for new and delete and replace function. Okay, then object exists independently of a scope in which it was created. Okay, here the object exists totally independently. Okay, in which it was created. Okay, it exists totally independently. See, here I have explained you. Okay, then also on the free store or allocation in dynamic memory. Okay, what is dynamic memory and how we are going to handle it, this we are going to see in the further coming slides. Okay, and be careful, but it is written as new is it is directed toward the delete. Okay, and then new, then I told you it is having some capacity, and therefore this delete is also allocated with some capacity. Okay, this is how this memory allocations works actually. Okay, some objects should both allocate and deallocate. Okay, some objects can be done both, that is the allocation process and the deallocation process. Now, logical static store. This is the pseudo code given to you, that void f double o. We can write something also f double o d. Okay, for better understanding. Void where we have made a class with name as its food. Okay, and then inside it we are defining integer data type which is static. Integer data type which is static, and here the value of I is 0. Okay, what is static? I have explained you previously. Okay, now global variables. What are global variables? These are actually the built-in type initialized to 0. These are built-in type initialized to 0. Okay, but local variables initialized. Local variables are initialized over here, okay, and it is initialized before the main function invoked, okay. For example, if I tell you this global variable means if while writing a code, even before reciting the main function, we define some of the variables so that we cannot change its value into the entire function, okay. If it is a local variable, we will be able to change its memory again, its value again and again as we move on further in our codes. We can update it again and again. But in case of global variable, if we have defined it once, we cannot change it again, okay. So initialization order. Within the translation unit, it is same as definition, okay. Within the translation unit, it is same as definition, and between translation units, it has arbitrary order. Here is the same thing given over here. Like we have defined the value of pi as 3.14 for the entire code, and we have define the value of 2 pi as 2 into pi. It means 2 into 3.14 for the entire code, okay. If we have defined it once, we won't be able to change its value in the entire code, okay. We won't be able to change its value in the entire code, okay. That is what the global variable means. It is once defined, we cannot change its value, and for local variable, we can update the value again and again as we move on in our code. Then what is a class? A class, you can see over here, we have defined a class which is named as date, okay, and this is set to be public. Public means it is a kind of in public domain. Any function in present inside the code can access the data present inside this public class, okay. And you can see over here, this is a private class, okay. Only a friend function or a inherited function can access the data present inside this private class, okay. Here more of the things are given just to complete the code. That is uh, enum, enumerated as month, okay. We have written the name of some month, then date, so we have taken year as integer, month as integer, and day as integer, okay. Then here it is written as, it is incorrect basically. Once again, it also should be int only. Yeah. And here we can get day in a constant way, then void set day, that is again day is integer, okay. Date and operator plus equal to, I have told you how this operator is working, that it will add this operator value, or you can say date and operator value, to this, and again allocate the new upcoming value to this, okay. As I told you, this is a private file, so any friend function or some inherited function can only access the data present inside the private files, okay. And then month, which is m underscore month integer, m underscore, how we have defined this, it as year, okay. This is just for the sake of changing, getting it a new name, okay. This is nothing. Otherwise, if we will give the same name, this year and this year will become same, this day and this day will become same. So just giving it a new name, we have used this value of m. Here again it should be m, okay. These are member functions method, and these are member variables, okay. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now, struct versus class. What is the difference between structure and class? So there is, here it is written in C++, there is no difference between structure and class, okay, except we are leaving just one part, that is the default public versus private, okay. If you will set a class, it will default wise it will come under the public, okay. And if you want to make it private, you have to write in that particular function as private, okay. Now in C++, struct can have members variable. These are all the data that a struct can have in C++ language, that are member variables. Second thing which it can have is method. Third is public, private, or protected, okay. After public and private, there comes a third type also, that is protected. Then fourth thing it can have is the virtual functions, and so many other things it can have. Okay, so that is what actually the C++ struct can have. Now, rule of thumb. Now we are going to talk about the rule of thumb. So what is the rule of thumb? Use struct when member variables are public. We can use this struct. You can use this struct when member variables are public, or you can say just a container. Okay. How we are going to use this struct? This struct will be used just as a container. Okay. When member variables are public, and use class otherwise. Otherwise we can, what we can use? Otherwise we can use a class. If we don't want a container, what we can do? We can use a class. But ultimately both of these things are going to be doing the same function is in struct, just for one exceptional case that is written over here. Okay, so this rule of thumb is just to tell you that how you can differentiate that when to use struct and when to use class. Whenever you want when you want a member variable are public, if the member variables are public, you can use struct as a container. Otherwise, you can go with the class. Okay, this is all what I'm trying to say by this. Okay, by this explanation. So I think it is clear up to now. Now I can move on. Now we will be talking about how we are going to give the names to our class, to our structure, or to our variables in the C++ language. Okay, so that here what it is telling, that long names for large scopes and short names for small scope. What does it mean actually? That if you are going for a lengthier, longer function or longer code, then you should keep a longer name, so that if you want to use some other if you want to allocate some name to other data type in between the code, so at that time you need not to take some longer name, so your class can be called easily, because if the name is longer, the longer is the name, the uniquer it is, right? So if you are going for to give it a name for a larger scope, then you can keep a longer name. Okay, but if you are going to write a small code or a small structure, or going to define just a small class, so you know that you are not going to need so many different kind of names for your classes structure, for data types in between of the code, so at that time you can go for a short names. Okay, this is, and you can keep a shorter name also, but this thing is just been taught to you just for making your code even more convenient to the developer. Okay, for the developer, if suppose if you have to make some changes, or if you have to add something, or deduct something in your code, so these techniques are going to help you. Okay, and other thing is that we cannot start a name in C++ with underscore. Okay, reserved for, okay, and then reserved for special facilities. Why we cannot use this underscore? It is just we are reserving it for some special facilities, so that it won't be a problem for compiler to understand uh, the difference between the two things, that is the name and that is that special function. Okay, then again, the third tip which is given to you is that avoid similar looking names. Okay, because at the time of writing a code, then you can mess up like that. Here it is written as L and 1. Okay, so avoid writing such names which ultimately makes a mess for you. And one more thing I would like to say, that it is a small l, and capital I in computer is again like this only, right? So avoid, try to keep the similar looking names. And here it is just a general statement that choosing a good name is an art. Okay, so I think I can move on. Access controls. What are the access control? Here I have told you many of the times that what is a public class? This is visible to everyone. The class which is visible to everyone. Okay, whatever is a public property can be used by everyone, right? Similar in that manner, a public class can be visible to everyone. Okay, then a private class. whichever thing is a private, it can be accessed by only by a few members. Okay, so this is visible only to the implementer of this particular class. Okay, and then protected, this class is visible to the class of that class only, or to some derived classes. Okay, if we are deriving some classes from this particular class, then only this protected members will be visible to that class. Okay, and here again a good thumb rule is given to you just to make the things easier for you, that member function, that is method, if not virtual, then public or protected. Okay, if the member function is not non-virtual, then it is either public or protected. Okay, and if it is virtual, then it is, one sec, if it is virtual, then simply it is private. Okay, if it is virtual, then simply it is private. Okay, I think there should not be any misconception regarding this now, that if it is virtual, it is simply what, public or protected, and if it is if it is non-virtual, then it is a public or protected, and if it is virtual, then it is private. This is a thumb rule. Okay, and the second thing is member variable should be private every time. Okay, this member variable should be private every time, and here is just the exceptional cases given, that is exceptional in the case of struct. Okay, we just have to leave it in the case of struct. Struct means structure. Okay, so I hope till here all the things are clear to you, and I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, keep learning. I'm signing off. Bye bye.